In the quiet district of Shariapur, there is a peaceful village surrounded by lush green paddy fields, with a soft murmur of a river flowing in the distance. By day, the village is calm and serene, but when night falls, the villagers hurry back to their homes. At the center of this village stood an old brick house, home to a schoolteacher named Abdul Karim and his family. Karim was in his 50s, a calm and respected man in the village. He lived with his wife, Halima Begum, and their 8-year-old daughter, Tanya, bright, cheerful, and always smiling. The events began in the winter of 2014. By the end of December, the village was blanketed in thick fog. One early morning, strange noises came from Karim's cattle shed. Rushing out, he found one of his healthy bulls lying lifeless on the ground, with dry blood near its mouth. The local vet could not explain the cause of death and simply said, "This is not natural." Within the next 2 weeks, 2 more bulls died in exactly the same way. At first, everyone assumed a wild animal might be responsible, but there was no sign of entry into the locked shed, no bite marks, only dark patches on the animals' necks and chests. Soon after, more unsettling things began happening. In the middle of the night, cooking pots in the kitchen would overturn, spilling rice and lentils across the floor. At first, Halima thought it was rats, but the food carried an odd, raw, rotten smell that lingered in the air. The most terrifying incident happened to little Tanya. One night, she woke up crying, clinging to her mother, and said, "Mama, there's a man with red eyes standing outside the window." Halima opened the window and saw nothing, only a faint black shadow moving in the mist. From the next day, Tanya began having recurring nightmares, dreams of a tall man calling her name. One morning, Karim noticed freshly dug soil near a banana tree behind the house. Curious, he began digging with a spade. A few minutes later, the spade struck something hard. Clearing the soil, he uncovered a black clay pot. It was old, wrapped with red thread, and smeared with ash. When he opened it, his hands trembled. Inside were pieces of cloth soaked in dry blood, a bundle of human hair, long fingernails, and a bone. Around the bone, strange symbols were drawn on red fabric. Karim quickly brought the pot into the yard and sent for the village's elderly shaman. The old man looked at the pot, sighed heavily, and said, "This is a black magic pot. Someone has sent it to destroy your family. The troubles began the day this was placed in your yard." Karim asked, "What should I do now?" The shaman replied gravely, "You made a mistake by digging it up. The power inside is now released. Be careful tonight, but know this, what comes cannot be easily stopped." That night, at exactly 2 a.m., it began. The door started shaking, softly at first, then harder. The lights went out, and an unnatural cold filled the air. Then came a raspy voice. "Why did you touch my things?" Halima screamed, and suddenly the window shattered, letting in a gust of icy wind. In the dim candlelight, they saw a tall black shadow standing in the corner of the room, its eyes glowing like fire. The next few nights were worse. At midnight, they would hear a dull thuk-thuk sound, as if someone was knocking from beneath the ground. Tanya would cry and say, "He's back, he's calling my name." One morning, Karim found that the spot where the pot had been placed was giving off a burnt, earthy smell, with thin smoke rising from it, as if something was burning underground, yet there was no fire. The villagers warned them, "It's not safe to stay here." Eventually, the family left the village. The house has remained empty ever since. No one dares go near, because people say that at midnight, you can still hear the knocking of the pot, and in the shadow of the banana tree, a man with glowing red eyes stands silently. Even today, on foggy nights, villagers avoid that path. If someone dares to speak of the pot, the elders fall silent, and in a whisper one might say, "He's still there,